Hello students. Today in this video I will discuss literary terms. As literary terms are in your syllabus, just like dramatic monologue, inscape, blank verse, in stress, war poetry, ballad, epic, blank verse, free verse, idylls, irony, heroic couplet, etc. First of all, I will tell you what is the meaning of literary terms. Literary terms refer to the technique and style and formatting used by the writers and speakers to masterfully emphasize, embellish, or strengthen their compositions. Literary terms can refer to playful techniques employed by comedians to make us laugh or witty tricks wordsmiths use to coin new words or phrases. They can also include the tools of persuasion that writers use to convince and drive audiences to action. With their carefully crafted speeches geared towards both logical and emotional thinking, they challenge our everyday modes of thinking. Literary terms also include powerful figurative language that writers use to summon emotion ranging from guilt to anger to bliss and to allow us to see the world in new and magical ways. Words can be arranged to give poems, songs, and prose alike rhythm and musicality. They can animate a story with such wealth of detail, character development, and action that as readers we are taken by a story and feel as if the people on the page are real. Literary terms have a wide range of application, from the poet's beauty to the speaker's persuasion to the novelist's story development. Now we will see why the literary terms are so important. Literary terms are important in a wide variety of ways. They allow writers and speakers to make comments on society, politics, and trends. Rhetoric devices can be used to strengthen arguments with persuade and convince audiences. First of all, we will do dramatic monologue. Dramatic monologue is half poem and half drama, in which a single fictional or historical character other than the poet speaks to a silent audience, constituting one or more persons. This form of poetry was perfected by Robert Browning. It has the following characteristics. रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग ने ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग को परफेक्शन दिया. जैसा कि मैंने बताया, व्हाट इज ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग? ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग इज हाफ पोएम एंड हाफ ड्रामा. ये हाफ ड्रामा की तरह से है और हाफ पोएम, जिसमें एक सिंगल फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर, फिक्शनल मीन्स इमेजिनरी कैरेक्टर, स्टोरी का कोई कैरेक्टर, हीरोइकल कैरेक्टर, पोएट नहीं है वो, अदर देन द पोएट स्पीक्स टू अ साइलेंट ऑडियंस. ऑडियंस तो साइलेंट है क्योंकि ऑडियंस उसको पढ़ रहे हैं. सो ऑडियंस साइलेंट है और कॉन्स्टिट्यूटिंग वन और मोर पर्सन्स में एक या दो व्यक्ति हो सकते हैं. ये पोएट्री की फॉर्म जो है, दिस इज कॉल्ड लिटरेरी टर्म मोनोलॉग. दिस लिटरेरी टर्म इज कॉल्ड मोनोलॉग, ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग. सो इस फॉर्म को, इस पोएट्री की फॉर्म को रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग, जो एक बहुत फेमस पोएट है इंग्लिश लिटरेचर में, उसने इसको परफेक्शन दिया. ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग को हम इस तरह से कह सकते हैं, a single person but not the poet. We can define it like this. A single person, but not the poet, utters the words presented in the entire poem in a specific situation. एक सिंगल पर्सन बोलता है और ऑडियंस सुनता है, ऑडियंस की प्रेजेंस है, पोएट नहीं है वो. The protagonist addresses and interacts with one or more persons, and the reader is aware of the presence of the audience and their reactions. इसमें प्रोटैगोनिस्ट जो हीरो है वो एड्रेस करता है और इंटरेक्ट करता है वन और मोर पर्सन्स के साथ. एक या ज़्यादा भी पर्सन्स हो सकते हैं, उनके साथ इंटरेक्शन उसका बताया जाता है. एंड द रीडर इज़ अवेयर ऑफ द प्रेजेंस ऑफ द ऑडियंस, और रीडर भी अवेयर है ऑडियंस की प्रेजेंस से कि ऑडियंस वहाँ पर कोई प्रेजेंट है, एंड देयर रिएक्शंस ऑल्सो. The monologue is so organized that its focus is on the temperament and character that the dramatic speaker unintentionally reveals in the course of what he says. Unintentionally, उसका कोई इंटेंशन नहीं होता और वो बोलता है वो जो बोलना चाहता है. In other words, the dramatic monologue aims at the psychoanalysis of the protagonist. वो साइको एनालिसिस, साइकोलॉजी, उसकी साइकोलॉजी क्या काम कर रही है उस हीरो की, उस प्रोटैगनिस्ट की, उस चीफ कैरेक्टर की, वही ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग में दिखाया जाता है. Such poems reveal the mind of the character, whose personality is revealed unwittingly. This distinguishes a dramatic monologue from a lyric. ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग से लिरिक से भी अलग है. ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग एकदम डिफरेंट है, ना ये लिरिक है. एंड द इम्प्लाइड प्रेजेंस ऑफ अ लिसनर, और इम्प्लाइड प्रेजेंस है इसमें कि लिसनर है, कोई सुन रहा है वहाँ पर, डिस्टिंग्विशेस इट फ्रॉम ए सोलिलोकी. सोलिलोकी से भी अलग है ये. और इट डिफर्स फ्रॉम एसाइड. एसाइड इज ऑल्सो अ टेक्निक. एसाइड से भी डिफरेंट है. It is also a literary term, aside, in a dramatic monologue, and the other characters also hear what is uttered by the speaker. The examples of this form in English literature are Tennyson's Ulysses. Tennyson की poem Ulysses, Browning की poem My Last Duchess, Fra Lippo Lippi, André del Sarto, Rabbi Ben Ezra, and T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. The two poems are prescribed in your syllabus. These are dramatic monologue. One is Rabbi Ben Ezra, written by Robert Browning, and the other is T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. These two poems are in your syllabus. I can tell you about the poem Rabbi Ben Ezra as a dramatic monologue. This poem is narrated by Rabbi Ben Ezra, a real 12th century scholar, and the piece does not have a clearly identified audience or dramatic situation. Rabbi says that the best part of a man's life is old age. The prospect of approaching old age could not terrify youth, for youth and old age are widely planned by God. Youth is but a preparation for this last and the best period of life, old age last of life, for which the first was made. Youth is undoubtedly the period of high hopes and daring aspirations. So, this is a dramatic monologue prescribed for your studies. Rabbi Ben Ezra. The another dramatic monologue is The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. This poem is an internal monologue. This is an internal monologue, not perfectly a dramatic monologue. It is not a confession to an external party, but to a part of one's own self. The you in the poem is not a friend or beloved, but a part of Prufrock's own split consciousness, with the only difference that the stream here is not conscious and unbroken, but comes in emotional spurts, in waves flowing and then ebbing. The protagonist makes a move towards the overwhelming question but suddenly retreats from it. So, the structure of this poem, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot, is an exact graph of the configuration of the internal monologue. So, these are the two examples from your syllabus. So, as here is shown, there are three major types of dramatic monologue, such as romantic monologue, philosophical and psychological monologue, conversational monologue. A monologue functions as a tool to give vent to one's thoughts. It provides an opportunity for the poets to use powerful words spoken through their characters. So the characters can express themselves or their ideas without an obstacle or hindrance. A dramatic monologue is also a convenient device to present different characters and their inner thoughts through वर्सेस। ये एक बहुत कन्वीनियंट डिवाइस है जिससे कि हमें उसके मनोभावों के बारे में, उस चरित्र के, उस हीरो के, उस प्रोटैगोनिस्ट के मनोभावों के बारे में ज़्यादा जानकारी हो पाती है। सो दिस इज़ अ पावरफुल टेक्निक थ्रू ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग। Thank you. The next part of the literary terms I will discuss in my next video.